Hello, everybody. My name is Miguel Perez, and I'm a research scientist at the Virginia Tech Transportation Institute and an associate professor at the Biomedical Engineering and Mechanics Department at Virginia Tech. I am here today to talk to you a little bit about the SHRP2 safety data, just give you a quick primer of what it is and how it could potentially help your area research and how you might be able to access some elements of this data. First of all, I want to thank the Student Symposium Organizing Committee for extending me the invitation to provide you with this information. Some of you may recall you received a bit of information about the SHRP2 safety data earlier this year from AAAM. I think it was right around the time that the Clay Gabler Scholars Award applications were released. So I'll start with a quick primer of what is the SHRP2 NDS data. The naturalistic driving study was conducted between 2010 and 2013 in 6 different locations within the United States. It produced about 3 petabytes of continuous driving data, and it included about 3,500 volunteer participating drivers. These drivers came from Tampa, Florida, Bloomington, Indiana, Buffalo, New York, Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, State College, Pennsylvania, and then Seattle, Washington. Those drivers drove around 30 million miles over the course of the study and produced about 5.5 million trip files. As part of the database, we've identified nearly 2,000 crashes and 7,000 near crashes. The crashes range from severe airbag deployed types of crashes all the way to pretty benign curb strikes. So there's a wide range of those in the database. There's an Insight website. The link is there, and I'll have it in a separate slide as well, and I'll talk a bit more about it. That website serves as a portal to the study documentation and the aggregate data, as well as some actual data that I'll show you glimpses of today. The SHRP2 NDS was developed as a public access database, but data use licenses are used to protect sensitive information and ensure that data use conforms to the promises made to the participants. So there is a process for you to essentially document and formalize your access to the data, but it is not incredibly onerous, and we try and make it as streamlined and as easy as possible for everybody that is involved. But I'll talk a bit more about what's entailed in those later on. Before we get to that, I just want to give you a glimpse of what the data look like. So these are the different elements of the SHRP2 NDS data. First of all, at the participant level, there's a number of different assessments that were conducted, mostly before the beginning of the study for each participant, and in some cases they occurred towards the end of the study as well. There's also some vehicle information that is cataloged. Then the meat of the data, the largest part of the data is the continuous data, which includes video, vehicle network data, data from accelerometers, for radar, GPS, for location, and then additional sensor data. These data have been used also to produce trip summary information that is meant to characterize sort of what different trips looked like. And they've also been mined for the crashes, near crashes that I mentioned before. So what we call the event data. And that includes not only crashes and near crashes, but also what we term baselines, which are normal driving periods that are meant to be comparisons for the crashes and near crashes, essentially a way to assess exposure of drivers to different kinds of elements. There's also cell phone records that were collected for a subset of the participants, in case anybody's interested in sort of crossing the driving data and the driving events with cell phone calls and texts. And finally, there's a roadway data or roadway database that contains more detailed information about a good subset of the roadways that the participants traveled during their period of participation in the study. This is what the video looks like. In this case, this is one of our employees driving a prototype system, but the video views are representative of what's in the study. So there's a forward view, that is in color. And then there's 3 more views that are in black and or grayscale, I guess. So there's a driver's face view there on the right side of that image. Then on the bottom left, there's a bird's eye view of the instrument panel and the center console. You can see kind of the steering wheel there to the left. And then on the bottom right of the image, there's a rear view that tells us what, or allows us to look into what's behind the vehicle at any point in time. I mentioned the inside website. I'll go into the actual website here in a minute. But here is a link, just giving you a chance to take a picture of the link so you can have it for later. The website is meant to be, as I mentioned before, a portal into the database, give you a fair amount of information about data dictionaries, even sample data, so you can kind of look and feel at what the data look like before you commit to accessing the data, and then even do some simple queries on the website that allow you to see potentially how much data there might be that relates to your area of interest. Before I go into the website, I do want to highlight if anybody has any questions or wants more information or doesn't quite know where to start and wants to get to one of the SHRP2 data team. This is the email you can use, datasharing@btti.bt.edu. That sends your request to a ticketing system that we have, so it gets handled as quickly as possible. And if you send us any questions, we'll make sure we answer those and get back to you as soon as we can. So with that, let me switch over real quick to the inside website. This is what the homepage looks like. There's a login screen on the or login box on the right. And you can certainly register. The only registration steps are required is entering your email address and a password to get basic access to the website. If you want access to some of the features I'll show you today, including the query tool and videos and data of the actual crash and near crash events, you do need to provide documentation of training in human subjects research. And there's a few links on the website of where that can be. Most of you as students will have access to such training as part of your home university or college. Usually city training is sort of the most widespread one that most people have. And so uploading a copy of your training certificate will suffice to fulfill that requirement. For now, I'll go ahead and explore the website as a guest. So it's this button here on the right. If you click on that, then it'll take you straight to the homepage of the website. And what you can do in this case is go to the background tab, which has frequently asked questions. It has overviews of the SHRP2 NDS data. There's a number of webinars that have been conducted over the years, have more in-depth information about many of the features of the data and what people have done with it. Versioning information for the different releases of the data set. As I mentioned, data dictionaries for all the different questionnaires and time series data that are part of the website, and so on and so forth, including towards the end some sample data, as I mentioned, that you can readily download. So this background page gives you a lot of information, a lot of background information on what the data set is, how you can access it, and what kinds of things you can access from it. The other tab I'll highlight is this Dataverse tab. If you click on it, it'll take you to I guess I gotta log in, so I'll go ahead and do that here in a minute. But Dataverse, let me switch over. Now log in formally. So Dataverse allows you to look at the different data sets that have been developed using the SHRP2 NDS. The interesting or I guess useful thing about these data sets is that once they're listed in here, they can be requested and they can be provided to you at no cost whatsoever. They're standalone. They are readily available, and all we have to do is once everything's approved, we just got to open access for you to actually download the data. So these require only a data use license. and then like again, no at no cost to you. And some of them are quite comprehensive. I think in the materials that were sent out earlier this year, there was some information about some specific ones that could be very useful to the types of research that you all do as members of AAAM. So within each of the data sets, if you click on any of them, it'll lead you to metadata about those data sets, just more information about what's in each of them, descriptions of what the data request scope was, what variables are included, and so on and so forth. Okay. The data tab, well, again and again, once you're registered and have uploaded your certificate to the website, you get access to more information here. The one thing I'll highlight is the events themselves. That's usually what most people are interested in. So the event detail table, you can actually, once you upload your certificate, you can actually look at that that table and actually see the details of the video. So the video for the 4 video for the event. On the right hand side here, you have the time series data for that. In this case, we're just looking at GPS speed. You can pick different types of metrics to look at and kind of click through it. And then there's also the event analysis. So all the video coded information for the different crash, near crash events. And so this allows you to look through all of those. If you go back to the data tab, I mentioned the query tool, and the query builder allows you to select from all the different data in the database. I don't have time today to go through a detailed query, but for example, if you wanted to only look at the crashes where a teen driver was involved, that'd be a relatively straightforward query to write here, and that would filter all those 2,000 crashes and 7,000 year crashes to only those that had the involvement of a teen driver. So all that is definitely possible. So I will stop there. Thank you very much for your time. As I mentioned, if you have any questions or comments, please contact us at data sharing at vtti.vt.edu. And again, a lot of thanks to the Student Symposium Organizing Committee for allowing me the time today. Hope you have a great rest of the conference, and sorry I couldn't be there with you in person. Take care.